Hi, this is Joseph Walker with SMB Nation, and I'm here inside Windows 8 Enterprise RTM that's released to manufacture. This is not a preview, it's a what you see is what you get version. We're going to take a look at some basic navigation to start, then move on through applications, check out under the hood, review some business features, and take a quick peek at Hyper-V. As you'll see, I'm in a standard Windows desktop environment right now. I can click on any of these icons to launch applications if I want to. I can go to my computer and such. I can check out my Google Drive and open documents. It all happens very quickly and easily. And I'm going to minimize these. Here are my documents, which I don't have very many of. But as we continue down to the taskbar, you'll see that I have a number of applications that are pinned to the taskbar, just as I could in Windows 7. If I right-click on those, there's a variety of customized options for those applications. You will notice that there is a very conspicuously missing Start button, and that's the matter of quite a bit of scorn, apparently, among pundits and some users alike. If I mouse down there, I get this little Start menu snapshot instead. And if I click there, I see the Metro UI Start menu. You see some Windows Metro apps right there. All of my desktop kind of productivity apps right here. And some of my third-party Metro UI apps right there. I've also revealed some of my system administration and configuration apps, and here's a bunch of shortcuts that automatically installed with new applications that I have not done anything with yet. I can move them easily enough though, and let's say do like that, and if I want to get rid of them, I can just right click and I can unpin them. And one of the nicest things actually about the Start Menu UI is it is a type-ready search engine, if that makes sense. Like if I want to bring up my calculator, I can do that easily enough. Or if I want to look for a file, let's say I want to look for a file that has SMB Nation in it, I can go ahead and type, and there we see I have some files. Here's an old channel partner weekly power list that I'll minimize. Go back to the Start menu, and you'll also notice that I can, regardless of what window I'm in, I can mouse down to the bottom left, and I can always access my Start menu. I can also right-click on the Start menu and see a list of every application I have installed on the computer, and return the Start menu in the same way. I can always also return the Start menu just like in previous versions of Windows by tapping the Start key. And that'll flip through between the most recent program, or I can do Start menu in D to go to my desktop app. And so you see I'm back to my desktop. It's easy enough. And then there's one other little UI piece. It's this kind of mouse over Windows charm interface right here. And this will give me search ability if I want to. It'll also give me the ability to modify some settings. Depending on what app I'm in, it may give me some additional functionality. It doesn't here in Word, but let's say I went to SkyDrive. I could go over here, choose a file, and then I could share that file if I wanted to. I can close a Metro app by just bringing it down like that. And speaking of some of the modern UI apps, let's take a quick look at the couple. They launch just the same as any other app. You just click on it. Here's kind of a cool news app that I like. You'll see that Amazon Kindle comes to the UK. Oh boy. Some other technology news. If I click over here, I see all of the different apps that I have running. My desktop app, which with all of my desktop applications inside of them. My calendar. PC settings, Start menu. You can open all recipes, which is one of my favorite apps. It lets me search for recipes by ingredients. So I can do bacon, which I love, and cheese and cream cheese for a nice unhealthy treat. Ooh, stuffed jalapenos. Here we go. It's a pretty nice app, pretty slick, works just as you might expect. It's intuitive and snappy and pretty. And again, if I go over here, I can search or flip between my different apps. I can also use Alt-Tab, of course. Alt-Tab is nice because it does integrate with both the Metro Modern UI apps and the standard apps. And so that's pretty much how you navigate through Windows 8. It is a little different from Windows 7, but again, you do have that type-ready search engine, which lets me go to whatever it is I want to very quickly. And you know, if I want to go to my control panel or whatever, I can do that. And if I want to get to my desktop, I can do that pretty quickly as well. So let's take a look at our next section. We have applications. I've already walked you through a few of them, but if you look at standard desktop apps like Word, they function just like any other application in Windows 7 or Windows XP or not. Excel functions the exact same way. My web browsers function similarly. I've actually downloaded an app here called Start 8, which is a nice UI tweaker. And as you see, I can install third-party applications just like I would in any other version of Windows. I don't have to use the Windows 7 or Windows 8 store, which I will show you in a moment. But here I've finished, and what you see is a familiar Windows 7 Start button that works exactly, well, maybe not exactly, but yeah, for the most part, just like you would expect it to in Windows 8. It actually even gets some transparency functionality there, so all of you people who miss Arrow, you have that back. And I can still go to the Windows 8 Start menu if I want to, the traditional one. And as you see, I can also launch my Metro or Modern UI apps through that as well. I actually haven't set up my mail, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I had a mail account connected, but then I deleted it, oddly enough, so I should probably unpin that. And let's go back to my desktop. And so that's the desktop apps. They work exactly as you would expect any desktop app to. So here's a video running inside of this. And in terms of the modern UI apps, they're full screen, but as I mentioned, you can still flip between them. And they work pretty smoothly. They're really tablet optimized. They're fast. They're simple. The People app is somewhat nice. If you take a look at Harry Brailsford with me, you'll see that I've connected my Facebook account, and he and I are friends, and we can see what's going on with his social media in a very, very tablet or phone friendly manner. It works just fine in the desktop too. Truth be told, I don't much like Facebook's interface, so this is a bit of an improvement in my opinion. If we continue on under the hood, I do like the new File Explorer, which replaces Windows Explorer. And it looks much the same, except we have a new ribbon over here. And if you're familiar with Windows 7 and Windows XP, pretty much this works exactly the same way. I can turn on my hidden folders and system files and all that fun stuff. And see all my files. Here's my user account. And one of the nice new features of Windows 8 is that I can actually just right-click on an ISO file and I can mount it. You used to have to install third-party applications to get that support, but it is integrated into Windows 8. You'll also find that the control panel is very familiar. If I want to manage my programs, I can do that right through here, just like normal. Now, the modern UI apps aren't managed through the control panel, but they are extremely simple to deal with. Well, that's going to go ahead and work. I'm just going to, let's say I don't like this one. I'm going to right click on it, hit uninstall, and uninstall to confirm. And there you have it. That app is gone. I think this one must be taking a while. Oh, UAC was coming up. And Google Drive is also integrated as a virtual drive on my computer, so I imagine that's doing some whateverness. There it is, it's gone. And one of the nice thing is those virtual integrated drives. If you look at SkyDrive, I have my SkyDrive connected just as if it were a typical Windows virtual or network virtual drive. Here's my files. If I want to drag and drop files, I can. So let's say I wanted to make a copy. I really don't want to make a copy of my boot manager and move it to SkyDrive, but I could in theory if I wanted to. I'll go ahead and close that. And let's say, oh, I don't want to set that up right now. Here I am in Excel, and if I want to save that file to my SkyDrive, I can. And that sends it right to the cloud and any other device that I have hooked up with my SkyDrive. So that is pretty nice. And that's really Windows 8 under the hood. I also have my run prompt, which I can, launch a command prompt from, or I can do a regedit from, or whatever else I want to. So none of that has changed. That all works as you would expect it would. There's also the PowerShell, and sometimes it's nice to use this interface because it's so simple. There's my Windows PowerShell, which has gotten a lot of attention, and it has quite a number of features and I think a few thousand different commandlets that you can use. If we take a look at the business features, I'll go through this very quickly. We have BitLocker drive encryption, which allows you to protect your drives with 256-bit AES encryption. There's the credential manager, of course. There's file history, which is very nice. What this does is it allows me to restore older versions of files in much the same way as the versioning in Dropbox or a lot of different backup and sync software allows you those same features. And we have location settings, which allows me to tell the computer where I am for a lot of the modern UI apps. The recovery has a number of neat features. Again, I'm actually going to go to the modern UI app, and I'm going to start just typing refresh. And look at here, and I can refresh my PC to a previous version to get rid of any viruses or whatnot, but keep my files and personalization. So that's nice. And I'm going to Alt F4 to close that. Go back to my desktop. And moving along, we have our remote assistance and desktop connection and sharing app, which I haven't configured. Our sync center, which allows you to share information between devices. Storage spaces, which is nice. It allows you to create storage pools, just like in Server 2012. So you can create one volume that spans multiple drives. And that helps with data resiliency and backup and just makes managing storage a lot easier. We have our backup and recovery center, which I'm not using, and Windows to Go. Now I don't actually have a USB drive hooked up right now, but if I did, I could create an image of my operating system onto the USB drive and then boot from that USB drive on virtually any PC and have my Windows 8 installation right in front of me. I can definitely see myself using that. Last but not least, let's take a quick look at Hyper-V. Again, I'm going to go here and just type Hyper-V and open my manager. And here's my Windows XP VHD file. I'll go ahead and start that. And I'll connect. And it's going to boot up good old Windows XP. Now I'm not actually going to wait for it to boot and go through Windows XP, although it is booting pretty quick, but I'll go ahead and close that, and that's really a wrap for Windows 8. Just dealt with all the very basics. I hope that you realize that it's not really that different from Windows 7, especially if you install Start 8 or a variety of third-party apps that provide simpler functionality. And really, the traditional modern UI isn't that bad. I really, if you haven't noticed, like the whole type and find what you want. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thoughts or responses, I'm happy to reply. And I hope you check us out at smbnation.com.